I've been asked this question time and time again. And it's a pretty basic question, but I think it takes a little bit more explanation than this is how you do it and I just type it out. So I'm gonna explain how I edit my videos. It is for the most part a pretty straightforward process, but you gotta remember there is some own personal creativity in what you're kind of aiming for. What you're trying to make might not necessarily be what I'm trying to make. But you can probably use a lot of the strategies that I've come up with that really improve my ability to edit and make the product so much better. Plus, it's probably gonna save you a whole bunch of time, and nobody hates sitting in front of a computer for hours on end like I do. I'm so done with that. It's been online classes. It's a struggle, so let's just get to it. I'm gonna preface this by saying, if you don't have a more modern computer and you got an old ancient aluminum brick like I do, your computer is going to be suffering and struggling and screaming at you for you to release it from its existence and its moral toil. So yeah, expect to get a lot of heat, maybe flames, maybe fire, and a dead computer by the end of this. But if none of those things happen, great, you're gonna have an absolute banger of a video, but I'm just gonna give you a heads up, if it's old, it's gonna struggle. Alright, so we're at the editing time. Now the first thing you wanna do is pretty obvious, which is just import your media into your computer. This is, if you can't figure that out, probably editing isn't for you. But yeah, for the most part, what you want to do right out of the gate, just import your media, get it into a folder, somewhat organize it. See, I have everything organized by day, and then I have it organized by trip. So in this case, it is Revy 2020. That is my most recent trip. And then I have everything ordered by the day we are riding. So this is day 6 of riding, which is our last day of riding. So I've imported the media into there. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is probably my least favorite thing, which is you have to, depending on what you have, if you have a really powerful modern computer, you probably don't have to do this, but if you have an absolute beast of a computer from 2011 that's rocking an i7 with 4 cores, you're probably going to need to do this, because otherwise you're going to have a heck of a struggle fest. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to select all your media, and then you're going to want to transcode it. Now, what transcoding is going to do is it's going to convert it into a file format that works a lot better in the program. The one downside of this is it fills your hard drive, like fills it, like it triples the size of the files in your computer. But the advantage of that is you can actually edit now, because if I did get in transcode media, there's no way I could edit this resolution. So I've gone ahead and created an optimized media. It's gonna take you a while. Like, I'm gonna be honest, when you press this button, you press OK after you've selected all of it, go take a nap, or probably just ignore your computer for a day. It's gonna sit there grinding away, melting and wanting to die, probably begging for like the sweet sensation of relief from its pain and misery, because it's going to be trying to compile all and optimize all that video for the next probably day and a half, which is what my computer does. So I usually get that optimizing the night before I intend to edit, and then I come back the next day and it's usually done. So you're going to get going on that, and then you're probably going to want to walk away from it.
2,000 years later.
Alright, so once the optimization is done, which is probably the next day, which is in this case, what you're going to want to do now is you want to look through all of your videos. This is probably my favorite part in some ways, because I look through all the crazy, stupid, fun stuff I did throughout a trip, which is pretty dope. The only problem is, if you shot 4 hours of video, it's going to take you 4 hours at least, which can be a struggle. But the thing is, if you want to actually get like the whole experience, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to go through all of it. So how I do it is, rather than just watching the video, I more or less take notes on which clips I like. So how I do that is by using the marker tool. So if you look at the screen here, that's what these little purple dots are. Those are markers. I leave those on videos when I watch them to see what sections of the videos I want to keep. So for example, we have, let's just say, this video. So this section through here, I'm kind of just traversing. I'm not really going anywhere or doing anything super cool. So I've completely ignored it when I watched it over. But this first section, again, the first little bit's not really interesting, but the second I drop in, I start doing some fun stuff, getting some good power slashes in. So what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start making notes with the M. I'm gonna start spamming that M button, and then I have this big block here. And that's how I know I'm gonna keep that section of the video, because that section is probably gonna be better, where this section I can completely ignore. And I'm gonna do this for every clip. So you see I've gotten started on the first little bit of it, and then yeah, I got a long way to go. It's gonna be it's gonna be a little bit. So I will be back when I'm done that. Alright, so I have all my videos marked up. It took me about 45-ish minutes. I didn't have that much footage, so it didn't take that long, so which is good. So what you're gonna do now is you want to bring all those marked sections into your timeline. So if you see on my screen, I've got quite a bit. So what I'm gonna do is just grab each section and just drag and drop. One thing to note, the orange ones, I've marked those as talking points. So like I will literally be saying something or talking about something or just a general highlight. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag and drop literally all of these into there, and then we'll talk about what to do next. Okay, so I have all of my videos now in my timeline. It's looking like it's gonna be a roughly 20 minutes of actual footage in there. Now, when I do edit this, that's gonna shrink a lot. I bet you I cut at least 5 minutes off this video, which is good because it's a little bit more interesting. There's a lot of really big kind of gaps, like kind of right here is not great, and then yeah, here's not a lot going on, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Anyways, the next step is also another challenging part. It's deciding what you're gonna use for music, if you're gonna use music. I like using music, and I like using music I was kind of listening to at the time, which can make it a challenge because it doesn't always fit. So what I'm gonna do now is pretty much what you have to do, which is grab your phone and just dig through all your songs for the next little while. So I'm gonna go do that, and I will be right back. Alright, so I did some digging to find the song I wanted to use for this video. Obviously it's another day, so I spent a little bit of time doing that. I'm kind of picky with the music I like to have in my videos. I want it to be something kind of meaningful that I'm really enjoying right now, and I don't want to just throw some random like basic audio and just have the most basic video ever. So I want something a little bit more meaningful, so I took a little bit of time. So yeah, it's a different day. Anyways, so once you have your video imported, what you kind of have to do is decide when you're gonna have cuts in your video, because I like to base my video kind of off the beats of the music. I find it makes it a little bit more clean, a little bit more professional. So how you're gonna do that is once you got your video into your timeline, which is where the video, once you have your audio, your music into the timeline, which is what I have here, it's this song here, I'm gonna look for beats in the music. This is a pretty obvious one here. So if I scroll in, you can see it's kind of a bit of a lull, and that's gonna be a drum hit right there. So that's a good cutting point to switch to a different clip. So there's one there, so that's what I have here. So I have a little bit of video, and then I'm gonna have that drum beat and switch to a different clip. And I think that looked pretty good. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna press play, and I'm gonna listen to the song for a little while to find the next drum beat. You hear that? Just right there? That's a beat that we wanna look for. So I think it's here. Let's play it. No, it's over here. Yeah, it's right there. Basically, an easy way to find it is to play back a couple times, zoom in, really look at the waveform, and you can kind of see it right there. That's that initial kick from the drum. That's a good way of cropping video. So basically, once you have that, all you want to do is you want to start dragging and dropping videos, and basically you do kind of find the beats of the song throughout the rest of that song, and then just basically start making video clips fit into that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll get back to you in a sec. Another thing I went ahead and did was I added a voiceover. So that's what this is here. It's pretty easy to do that in Final Cut Pro. You just want to use your microphone, whatever you got. This is just a cheap like snowball. It's like 50 bucks. You can use GoPro audio, which is what I'm doing right now. But it's pretty straightforward. You can't see it on my screen, but you just go window and then record voiceover, and it pops up. You just click record, and pretty straightforward. I like to do this to kind of intro the next section of the video. So if I didn't say vlog a particular shot, so I do have a bit of that, but I don't really have anything else. So also kind of the next cut, we're at the mountain and I'm already snowboarding. I like to do something like a bit of like a voiceover, just to like intro the next section, rather than a bit of a kind of a random jump. I just find it flows a little bit better and just makes the video a lot more professional. Okay, so I just finished editing this first section of the video. So I like to kind of think of my videos as multiple sections. So the first section here is kind of the intro and the first little bit of riding. So I've got a song for the first little bit of riding. I've obviously got the intro where I have a voiceover. But now that that section's done, I'm now gonna kind of switch things up just a little bit. Obviously it's still a snowboard video, still gonna be snowboarding, but I'm gonna kind of switch that to like a major event of the day, for example. So in this situation, the major event is I'm gonna be riding this kind of this chute where I can't see freaking anything and I'm riding entirely by feel. That's kind of a lot different than a lot of the other sections in the video where I'm kind of just mostly through the trees. And honestly, you can kind of blur those together, and if you're not really paying attention, you'll never know those are separate runs. So the reason why I'm doing this is because the song has ended. So this particular song is only about 2 minutes long and it's ended, and I don't really want to just keep repeating the same song over and over again. Like, if it's not a song you really enjoy, now I enjoy the song, but my viewers might not. If it's not a song you really enjoy, you're not gonna want to listen to it like 5 times in a row. So I'm switching it up. I'm gonna start like kind of a bit of a break, bit of a mood change, and that way when we go into the next part, it kind of holds people's interest a little bit more. At least I hope. I don't freaking know. I'm not an expert at this. But this is just my strategy of approaching this. So obviously I have this section, which I'm just gonna play back for you so you can see what I was talking about for matching the transitions with the beat. So notice how I transition there, right when the music dropped, and it's gonna happen again. So you're gonna hear it, and then it's gonna transition. There you go. Yeah, my computer's struggling a little bit, but you kind of get the idea of when transitions happen. It just looks really clean and really professional. Anyway, so now we're moving on to this next part. So what I'm going to be trying to do is I want to intro this with a little bit of me talking. Now, if I recall, before I even dropped into this, I think I was talking about the line that I'm dropping into.
You want to get into, but
yeah, so obviously that's a bit of a mood change. So it's going from like having a good time to being like, I'm not entirely sure what I'm about to drop into. So let's just send it and check it out. So next I'm gonna look for a little bit of a different mood change in the audio. So I'm gonna choose a completely different song with a completely different tone, and I think I have one in mind. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've made a Okay, so I've gone ahead and added what I call kind of more of a turning point in the video. I was talking about this earlier, and I was saying there's gonna be a bit of a mood shift. So what I've done is I've done another voiceover here, so you can kind of listen to that. So this is gonna really change the mood of the video, and I find mood shifts can really help with like kind of keeping your audience around. So what I've done from that is I've completely changed the tone of the music. Music plays a huge factor in mood. So I've chosen a classic, you could say. I like this song. And it's kind of got an eerie, like, definitely a different vibe to it. And it really matches like kind of the feeling I was experiencing when I was getting to drop in. Because if you look at it right now, I can't see anything. So that's kind of a different chapter of the video. So that's what I've done now. And then as you can see, I've gone ahead and found beats in the music timeline, matched those up with changes in the video, and so far it's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna keep doing that, and then when I get to the next section, which will kind of be wrapping it up. So honestly, at this point, you're kind of just gonna want to edit the video, like I've told you how to get music, I've told you how to match up music, just kind of get everything together, start compiling and start working at it. It's gonna take some time. Like this video probably for me is gonna take the rest of the day, so next time you see me, don't be surprised if it's dark outside. But yeah, so just compile the video and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so now you're on the final home run stretch. You've got your edit, you've got your music, you've got your pretty much your videos for the most part done. Now you gotta kind of wrap it all together. So how I usually like to do that is, in some ways I kind of like to go over what kind of happened in the day. In this particular video, I'm kind of wrapping up the trip. So I like to go over a couple of the things I've done. So what I've done, gone ahead done is I've done this voiceover here, and this voiceover is gonna go kind of over a couple of things that we did. So if you listen to it,
some of words.
Anyway, yeah, so if you listen to it, it ends up talking about kind of what the road was like home, and then as well as some of the things we did. So I bring up sledding in the backcountry, renting sleds, all that kind of stuff, and then kind of bringing in a nice, neat end to the video. And then, depending on what you want to do, if you're trying to gain subscribers, or if you're just doing this for personal use, I'm mostly doing this for personal use, so I mean, more subscribers would be nice, but not really my thing. You can bring some sort of call to action. So like, say if you like and subscribe, you like this video, I usually do something like that, but I usually, rather than doing like me physically asking for it, I usually just like have a picture that just says subscribe for more. And yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much it. That's kind of the entire editing process. Now I've left a whole bunch of stuff out. Like, it is, if you follow these steps, you're gonna get a general idea of how to do this. Now, that's kind of what I was aiming for, because the reality is a lot of video making is up to your own personal preference and your own creativity. So me telling you exactly how I make videos isn't gonna really, I'll only be able to teach you how I make my own videos. I won't be able to teach you how you should make your own videos. And if you were to just copy and paste my techniques, your videos are going to be identical to mine. And if you like my videos, great, then do that, I guess, if that works. But if you're looking, change it up, do something different, by all means, do that. This is just how I do it. So I hope you found this video useful, and I know I don't like saying this, but if you would like to subscribe, I would actually kind of appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you enjoy these other videos. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful day.